So the stock exchange is said to be now the best performing today in the world. The equities market been on a roller coaster since September the 21st, when the central bank cut policy rate to 11.5% and rolled out a long list of developmental finance policy interventions, totaling 3.5 trillion naira. Since then, Nigeria has also received a few other positive news. We have the Fitch Ratings outlook review to stable, and the latest ratings and outlook report on a number of listed commercial banks we talked about earlier. So let's chat today now with our policy analyst and CEO at Cowry Asset Management, Johnson Chukwu. Good evening. It's good to see you, and congratulations. This is your stock market. Great, isn't it? A 5-year high. Give me a high five. That's it. That's it. Put it there. Yeah, thank you so much. So we're heading towards 30,000. The last time we saw this, I'm sure you know, was in the years before the 2008, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. The last time we saw this kind of steroid on the capital market or the stock exchange was in 2008. Since then, we've seen a very weak and market that has remained laggard among its peers in the emerging market space. But interestingly, a few of those policy changes and pronouncements by the monetary authorities, by the rating agencies, and the fiscal authorities have actually restored to a large extent interest of investors in the Nigerian equities market. And in the past 2 weeks, Bourse, we've seen a market that has grown or that are actually appreciated by about 12.7% in the past 2 weeks. And today, we are now back to a positive territory in terms of year-to-date market performance at about 7%. Like you rightly pointed out, we are seeing the market index about 28,909 and the market capitalization about 15.1 trillion naira. So we've not had it so rosy in the past couple of years. It's been a period, 2 weeks of excitement for market operators.
Yes, 2 weeks of excitement, as you put it. That is all about the outcome of the interest rate cut by the central bank on September the 22nd.
Yes, it's a contributory factor. Basic thing, as you know, when rates, fixed income space yield is low, investors will underweight their portfolios in fixed income and overweight them in equities, which is what we are seeing. With the reduction in monetary policy rate by 100 basis points from 12.5 to 11.5, and a drastic decline in yield in the fixed income space, particularly the short end of the market, where you are seeing even 364-day bills trading at below 2%, investors are clearly looking for return and yield opportunities. And the equity market is presenting that. As you know, the company have actually have announced half-year results and have announced half-year benefits. The dividend yield on those stocks are far above what you can get from the money market. So investors are now underweighting their portfolios in fixed income and overweighting them in equities. That's one factor. The second factor is the positive improvement in outlook of a Fitch rating, which though we maintain our B rating, but has changed the outlook from negative to stable. That clearly will encourage foreign portfolio investors back into the Nigerian market. And that's why you saw Nigerian investors already taking position ahead of the return of foreign portfolio investors. You also pointed out that even foreign portfolio investors that have sold their instruments are now going back into the equity space to reinvest in equity instruments.
When you see news such as the construction giant Julius Berger recently announcing plans to diversify into agro-processing, that's one significant news, I'm sure. Then you find other smaller players like Japan Maritime heading into gold or mining business. Are these signals that the administration talking about economic policy diversification, is it beginning to hit home?
Well, I would look at it from two perspectives. One is that these institutions need to diversify their earnings or their revenue sources. Take, for instance, Julius Berger. You will agree with me that the nature of their business, their primary business, is such that it's highly dependent on the goodwill and the capability of the government to grant them or to give them contracts. And with weak government revenue, with pressures on government expenditure and emphasis now to meet the current expenditure. I mean, if you look at the current budget profile, you realize that the proportion of the current expenditure to capital expenditure is disproportionately high. So what we are seeing is that the construction company like DIVERSIFICATION want to diversify their revenue sources so that they can enjoy some level of stability in their revenues. I think that must be the overriding factor that is driving them to go into agribusiness.
Yes, so when you look at Presco, for example, and Okomo Oil, it looks like these folks in palm oil business are making more money than those in crude oil business.
Both indeed, are you aware that the price of a barrel of palm oil is higher than the value of a barrel of crude oil?
It's amazing.
The fact is that they call palm oil the red gold, just like they used to call crude oil the black gold. Now, the red gold had displaced the black gold in terms of economic value. And we're also seeing that even investment in the oil and gas sector is going to diminish because we are seeing a drastic shift in technology. But the most important thing is that investment in agriculture is beginning to generate much higher return for such investors. You just mentioned Presco and Okomo. If you look at the market index, they are among the top 10 performers in the current year. If you look at year-to-date performance in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Okomo and Presco are among the top high performers. And anybody like DIVERSIFICATION is looking at going into an agribusiness. It's no-brainer that giving our land mass, giving also their capacity because they have the equipment to develop farms quickly. Clearly, they want to leverage on their existing competencies and expand to a revenue source that is not completely linked, that has minimal linkage to the construction industry.
Johnson Chukwu, let's continue this conversation after the break. It's IOSCO's Investors Week. What are we doing about it here at the local front? We have a lot more around the market when we come back. This week, is the International Organization of Securities Commissions, or IOSCO's Investor Week around the world. It's dedicated to promoting the education of local investors, among other things. Johnson Chukwu is still here, the CEO at Cowry Asset Management. Thank you, Johnson, for sticking with us. One quick question around where we finished off earlier, just for you to wrap that up for us in terms of the cocktail of policies, development finance policies that the central bank is talking about, 3.5 trillion. Now, do you think this is an enabler for any part of the market, as it were?
Yes, to the extent that a stimulus in the economy will improve the revenues opportunities among the quoted companies operating in the economy. So that will also moderate the level of contraction we expect the economy to suffer at the end of this fiscal year. So policies of the government, the intention of government to inject about 2.3 trillion into the economy will certainly benefit many of the operators that are also quoted on the exchange. And if you look at even the forbearance policies of the central bank against to challenge loans, that will help stabilize the earnings of the banks. But the banks are a significant part of what the companies are quoted on the exchange. So these policies are certainly going to affect the companies positively.
So let's talk about IOSCO and what you call the World Investor Week. Are there key issues for Nigerian investors, Johnson?
Yes, there are two key issues for Nigerian investors. One is that IOSCO, which is International Organization of Securities Commission, as a member of IOSCO, Nigerian Stock Exchange will benefit. I mean, the Nigerian Securities Exchange Commission will benefit in sharing of information, technical information, operational information that will help us further develop our market, further position us as a global market. We'll also get the benefit as a member of that organization to leverage on some of the policies of the knowledge that currently exists in terms of investor protection, which is one of the critical components of the policies around the underlying reason for ISCO, as well as reducing systemic risk that could be triggered in a market like ours. So these are some of the benefits we're going to get directly from these investors we are for our membership of ISCO.
So what major developments are you looking to see happen in the financial markets landscape next year? Well, the stock market is going to rally. Perhaps this is going to continue to the end of the year. I expect you investors and traders to book some profit. At least Christmas and New Year is just around the corner. I'm sure you guys won't miss this, taking some money off the table. At least this is interest rate free, whatever it is. So you can take that off. Whatever is left of the market, what's your outlook?
Well, among the things I expect is that the government, the monetary authorities will try to stabilize the foreign exchange market. A lot is being done in that respect. Among the concerns of foreign portfolio investors is that the exchange rates must be harmonized. We should have a single exchange rate. I hope as the central bank moves, as the central bank has really moved the exchange rate, the official window twice to about 279, I hope that we're going to harmonize the exchange rate, and that will lead to improved flow of capital back into the economy. The policies already taken are beginning to manifest positively. I mean, we've seen a market rally pointed at 4.92% in a single day. Within 2 weeks, a market appreciation about 12.7%. And today we are back to the positive territory in terms of market capitalization. So we expect that policies that will drive stability in the macroeconomic environment will be at the front burner of the government. We're already seeing the government policies being driven or being encouraged by the compelling economic situation of the country. We've seen the government pull back from subsidizing petroleum products, which is one of the issues that we have been pushing, and I know even international financial institutions and multilateral organizations have also been pushing the government to adopt. We've also seen the government now step back to say we're going to allow market forces to determine the tariff for electricity charges. This will free up a lot of economic resources for government to invest in critical sectors of the economy. We expect that will lead to an uptick in investment in infrastructure. The government is also saying the right things as it relates to education. You know, one of the critical values that Nigeria presents to the world is the size of our population. To benefit from that size of the population, we must have a very vibrant and appropriately curriculumed educational system. Yeah. And with what the government announced yesterday as it relates to the incentives to the education sector, we should expect that this will be supported by a stronger and improved curriculum that is focused on STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is the current focus of the global educational system.
Johnson, we need to wrap up very quickly. I have one last question. I'm checking my Twitter handle, and I'm waiting for Mr. President to tweet about the Nigerian stock market tonight. I mean, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by the way. I'm checking his Twitter handle. Are you expecting a tweet from Mr. President to say congratulations, Johnson, and to Oscar Oyema and the rest of all of you on Custom Straight?
Well, I doubt if we're going to get that. But I also know that...
Don't be surprised. It could happen.
Yes, I was saying that I also know that a few of the president's speeches, he had, quite unlike the previous president, made mention of the capital market. So, and the president also recognized that the capital market is where the government and the private sector can go and use long-term funds.
Thank you so much, Johnson Chukwu. Have a great night. I'm sure it's a very beautiful day for the Nigerian market and investors.